discovered along the way with customers that requested, okay, this is going to be an important part to engage people that took part of our courses. So when the participants share the certificate, we can predefine hashtags and post texts. How that looks like for the participant, I'm going to show you in a second. The certificate setup is the whole validation process. A PDF, everybody can fake that. That is the reason that a lot of, especially accredited institutions, shied away from issuing PDFs, especially in Germany. And this makes sure that the certificates are always validated and can be checked on the servers. You can link those certificate and the validation process to your LinkedIn organization ID. That means if someone adds the certificate to LinkedIn, to the profile, they are going to see your company mapped to this LinkedIn certificate. Also something that I'm going to show you in the user process after guiding you through the admin setup. Here, you can also alter, of course, all the meta information and have a little preview of the badge, how it will look like in the end. The recipient view. Once someone gets access to the certificate, that means they receive this email and they click on Get Certificate. They're being forwarded to this access page where they have a preview of the certificate and where they're being told how to get access to it. That is something that we noticed that a lot of, well, none of the competitors actually do, that you can actually predefine this access page to your brand, that you not only have a logo, but also can follow on with the color code, with the presentation of the badge. I'm going to show you very quickly whether you want to have this iPhone frame. If you want to use the virtual badges for events and not as certificates, you can also have this little hanger, or of course the more traditional certificate presentation. This is something that we add every now and then, new options. Of course, we can also map the website to the logo that we are uploading, and the color can be changed as well as the URL. As you've seen, the organization slugs, that is something that we got as a feedback, was not very clear. The organization slug referred to the part of the user landing page. That means this is the organization slug and this is the certificate slug. So once we save that, we can activate it again and we go to the recipients. So those are the people that receive the certificate in the end. Here we can upload either single email addresses and of course also information such as recipient names, or we can upload Excel CSV files with all the email addresses. And what we will do is we add automatically this token. And if you send out the emails, right, the users receive the emails that we predefined in the campaign setup. And once they clicked on Get Certificate, they're being forwarded to the access page that we created together. That means here we have the access page with our logo, with our design. And once I connect to social media, if I connect to LinkedIn, Facebook, or of course the no authentication option, let's do that. There we go. The certificate is being generated automatically. That means we added information such as the social media profile picture. And yes, from this point on, we have our certificate. We can either download it, of course, or share it to the different platforms. If we share to the platform, we already see that our predefined post text and predefined hashtags are included. This is something that we A/B tested with 2 customers and saw that it makes a huge difference, not so much in the download and engagement rate, but very much in whether people actually share a post about this. It gives people an idea how to create a meaningful post around their accomplishment. And of course, also as a from a social media marketing perspective, very valuable that you can add hashtags that cannot be altered later on. And now I can share this straight from the access page to LinkedIn. If I click on continue without sharing, I can also, of course, just add it as a certificate to my LinkedIn page, where we have, of course, also our company linked due to the LinkedIn ID that we predefined. Well, and once someone shares this LinkedIn certificate, we have a validation page. This is the part that actually makes sure that this is not just a PDF that can be faked. This is forgery proof and can be validated every time when someone actually wants to access this certificate that the participant shared, either on social media or as a certificate to LinkedIn directly. And we have, of course, also our link to the landing page that we want to direct the traffic to, and our company name, as well as a little description, meta description about this certificate that we want to add. Yeah, this is the demo certificate. And as a last feature, very important, of course, in the end, how many people interacted with our certificates, how many people shared certificates, how many people downloaded it, and of course, in the end, how many people created it as well as all email statistics, in order for us to know, okay, how do we improve, for us in the sense of for the person who issues the certificate, yeah, if you have the account, for you, how to improve maybe the email communication if a lot of people opened it but did not click, or how to improve the overall engagement rate, also monitor the success of the campaign. Yeah, so this is the virtual badge. Of course, we have a lot of features in the roadmap, which we will discuss later on. And of course, if you have any questions also to my explanation of the tool, you can also just write them in the chat if you want to.
We have a few questions.
Yeah, sure.
Couple of questions. Do you want to take them before we move on to next ones?
Yes, let me see.
Great. The first one is from Jean. Can I upload my own certificate template?
Yes, good question. In the designer, you can either choose templates, or you can upload entire templates that you created, for example, on Adobe Photoshop, on all the design tools that you can come up with. We use Figma or Canva perfectly. Yeah, you can upload it if you have it in the right resolution, which we also tell you once this canvas is blank. Yeah, it's a 3 to 4 resolution. Yeah.
Got you. And Asif has another question. So is it possible to directly integrate with Thinkific platform? Because once someone completes the course in Thinkific, they should be receiving the certificate automatically. Is it possible? That's exactly what we are discussing.
Yes.
Started.
Yes. Okay. So a little bit too curious to wait for the roadmap. Yeah. No, it's perfect. Actually, I was already talking to Sampath about this. We work with our development in sprints. And the next sprint, so next week, we have a release where you get a lot of new cool features, which we will also communicate to you. And the 3 weeks afterwards in the sprint, we will develop API and access to Zapier especially. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Asif, hope that answers your question. So meanwhile, I have a follow-up question to Jean's question. So say I'm going to upload my own templates, right? So is it possible to manage these templates for different brands under the same account? So basically, I don't want to have, say I'm managing like 5 different or 10 different events, and I'm also offering like 15 different courses, and each one of them is going to have its own template. So is it possible for me to put in a different structure? Say 5 of them are going to be under the one brand, and the other 10 are going to be on the different brand. Is it possible to organize that way? If not, how does it really work?
Okay. I try to rephrase the question in order to see whether I got that correctly, right? So if you want to reuse templates in new campaigns that you create, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So there are different ways. Either you have the option to duplicate your event, right? Once you duplicate the whole setup, the campaign setup, right? You can decide whether you want to duplicate the whole campaign or only the designer information, right? That way you have very simply a new campaign set up with your old designs that you can reuse. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So, but then is there a way that I can also upload all the templates at one place and I can manage them, like a template gallery or something?
That is also something that we received from one of the SaaS Mantra buyers. Yeah, it's a awesome feedback. That is definitely something that we will include in future releases as well. Yeah.
Right. We asked that question. I asked that question because we have received the exact same question in our support email as well.
Okay. Yes. Apparently, it's popular. No, it's something that we already agreed upon with one of the geniuses. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, there are like more questions that we have received via support, and I have summarized them. But then I was just waiting for you to finish up the product demo, as well as we can discuss the use cases. And then I thought that I can bring in those questions.
Okay, perfect. So use cases first or questions first?
Well, there is like another section of the product that I would like to see covered in terms of certificate validation, like credential validation. So if you could cover more about that, like because that is like one of the aspects that I have seen that's more unique to virtual batch when compared with similar products in the market, right? So if you could cover a bit more about that, that will be very helpful, and see what are the ways that we can drive more traffic, especially with that one particular feature, because I'm sure there is a lot of potential for us to drive more traffic, especially for the event creators and then course creators. If we can drive like more traffic using that one simple method, that would be amazing.
Okay, perfect. So the credential validation is the link that is behind each of the certificates that the participants in the end share. Yeah, that means if they share this post together with the credentialing validation, let's actually go to the certificate validator. They will always be they will always forward traffic from people that are interested in getting to know more to that validation page, right? And here we have really the possibility, or you have the possibility to present this kind of course that has been taken by the specific participant to interested prospects from the network of the participant, him or herself. That is basically also something that a lot of our customers outside of SaaS Mantra always found very interesting, that they also have positions like the link to a website that is not only the website, but maybe a landing page of that specific course that was being completed. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. So how could I, as I'm sorry, I just noticed. So how could I, as a course creator, can use this feature to drive like more traffic? So is that like a validation link that goes along with the certificates? If someone has taken up my content marketing course or digital marketing course, and they are going to add that to their LinkedIn certificates as well. And if anyone who is visiting my LinkedIn profile, they want to validate that certificate, whether it's a legitimate or they have created something on their own. Is it possible to do that?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to share a LinkedIn certificate very quickly to my LinkedIn profile, so you can see how that exactly looks like, right? How the link is being implemented there as well. Let's click on save. So when we go down now, we see, there we go. We see here the certificate being added to the license and certification sections, right? So this is one of the traffic sources that we provide. If someone wants to validate that certificate, it's not only an empty certificate, but we can actually add the credentialing ID that directly goes to the certificate validator that we set up together, right? This is the first way. When people are interested in what actually was accomplished, we link directly to the landing page, right? And of course, also post that I just created about this certificate, right? We have the underlying validation process also in the post. Yeah. Also, this one is linking directly to the validator, so people can validate and then at the same moment raise awareness for the course that was being taught, right, to the participant.
Gotcha.
The idea is always that actually customers advertise to new prospects, right?
Right.
Because the great thing about trust generating tools, I think they really became fancy over the last years. They're beautiful tools, but they have always one thing in common. They create trust in their own media sphere, right? On their own website, on their own email newsletter, right? That's all great, but nothing is stronger if you actually push that outside of your own media sphere, and you let your customers actually talk about what you provide online. This user-generated content that everybody's talking about, right?
Exactly. And speaking of which, is it? I mean, it would also be more interesting if I'm going to motivate my students to share this share this online, like everywhere. Especially, it will work if I'm going to have like more courses. I can run like an offer. If you're going to be sharing this on social media, we are going to have you. We're going to offer you like 10% off on my next course that's coming up. So that could create like more viral effect to the courses.
Yes. This is something that a recruitment agency did with a virtual batch already. They used it in order to hire more people with their own workforce they already had. So friends hire friends, right? And they got it together with a kind of an affiliate model where they said, okay, everybody that shares those certificates, right, and attracts new employees to that company, to that South American recruitment company, would get a certain bonus. We've seen it also with an event of 15,000 participants. It was in Amsterdam, a developer event. They did it also and said, hey, you can win something if you share. And there was more a giveaway, and the other was more structured affiliate. Yeah.
Nice. That's very interesting. So you're saying like this could also work as kind of like an affiliate model as well.
That was also very great feedback that we received from the Genius community. Yeah. One of you actually asked about, okay, hey, how can I do it even more measurable also for me? So it's not only, okay, I have to scrape hashtags and find those posts and then kind of do a giveaway, right? There we wrote down already some feature requests that we are digging in right now. Yeah, something like, okay, automatically once, I mean, we have already the data, or well, you add already the database with all of the email addresses that you could, for instance, add affiliate link to those email addresses and kind of reuse that. UX wise, or how that feature actually looks like, that was something would be something that we have to explore more and work around that. But that idea is definitely already on our head. Yeah. Interesting.
Nice. Glad to hear that it's on the cards already. So Jean has another question. Can you share more about like custom domain and white labeling?
So, sorry, I didn't get that.
Can you share more about like a custom domain and white labeling? How does it really work?
Okay, so that was also something that we started looking into after we were talking to Sampath, I think, since the customers that we were working with before never raised that topic, but we like that idea as well. We think that it's all that certificates are a lot about branding, right? And branding is the strongest once you have also, well, your brand everywhere in the process. So the CNAME will refer, the CNAME feature, custom domain feature, will refer to the whole setup of the access page. Will start in the app.virtual batch that you can actually have your own domain here, and that is also something that we already have on our roadmap. So that is something that we are not only exploring, but that we are already that we're planning to implement.
All right, that's perfect. I'm gonna see if there is like any new questions. Okay, no new questions at this moment, so we can we can cover some of the use cases now.
Okay, perfect. So we already talked about two I would say strange use cases for digital certificates. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the most clear, the clearest one, most straightforward, is always I have an online course, I want to certify it. I have a training, I want to certify it. There we already work with solopreneurs, small trainers that basically work self-employed, but we also work with a larger organization, the Netherlands Marketing Institute, that is also that also became a partner over just being a customer for us, where they have multiple courses and want to structure their certificates, want to give it a more validation aspect as well, and actually also engaging in the end. Those are the very straightforward one, academies and coaches and trainers, right? What we also experience, of course, maybe it's because we came from that direction, events. Events are big were big for us, especially in the beginning, because that was where we natively came from, especially when the validation was not part of there yet. The main use that we brought was engaging people that were committed to a certain service, be it an event or something else. And from that moment on, we worked with multiple events with over 10,000 of participants, and always had very, very robust results. We always knew that we would hit approximately 20 to 35% of share rate, which is, if maybe you already issued some certificates with other providers, very, very, very extraordinary. Of course, it also always depends on whether you have whether you manage to engage the community, whether it's an event they're also super proud of, whether the community character is strong in that as well, right? But in the end, we came natively from the idea, okay, we want to make the experience as seamless and visually pleasing as possible, so people are actually looking forward to share it and not have the feeling that they go from advertisement banner for a certification company to advertisement banner. I think that is also a very, very strong differentiator that we like to focus on. Not only have for those super big companies the experience where you have your own logo in the process, where you have your own user journey, but actually also for the ones that really need to build reputation, right? For smaller coaches, smaller trainers, that is very important.
Yes. So now coming back to the events, I mean, that was like very interesting aspect of the product, right? So because most other products, okay, before we coming into that, so is there a way that you can also share like a few areas where virtual badge comes out on top when compared with some of your competitors?
Of course, yeah, that's very good. So events, I would say, since we come so natively from that direction, I would go as far to say that we're the best choice for them. Yeah. First of all, we also offer monthly plans that are very extendable for events to use. We have this very, very social media native way. We can predefine those hashtags and those post tags, so you don't have to leave again there. We try to reduce the friction as much as possible in order to create those social sharing incentives. This is something where we're very strong in. Also, the whole user journey. Probably you worked with competitors before where you saw that if you issue certificates and the participant receives it via email, already there we start with a lot of logos of those competitors. Yeah, and we try to keep the whole user journey as on brand as possible for the client him or herself. Yeah. That is a very strong focus. It's client centricity, and to make it as compelling as possible for the participant to in the end share this certificate.
Gotcha. Wonderful. And the other one that I wanted to ask, so let's just say that I'm an event organizer and I help organizing like multiple events. And I'm asking this because this has happened something to me recently where I do get invited to like multiple online summits, like virtual events. So what happens in most cases are like there's like one or two person who work for an online event management company. They help different product companies. They do tie up with those companies. For example, the most recent one where I got featured was organized by User Pilot. But then for User Pilot, they have a bigger team and they have their own manager who handles these online events. But then that's not the same use case. That's not the same case for many other companies out there. They usually outsource it to another agency or another person who's going to be handling them to help booking speakers for various online events, and anyone who's going to be participating in that, they also want to issue like a badge, like you are allowed at this event, and so on, so date, so on and on. So in those cases, say I'm the one who's going to be organizing multiple events. So, and that each one is for different product companies. So how can I use virtual badge to create unique certificates and then maintain them easily without any hassle? How can I achieve that?
Okay, perfect. I'm jumping back in the product. Yeah. So that means if you, for instance, have multiple virtual badges that you want to issue for different event purposes, right?
Yes.
That is the perfect moment to create multiple organization slugs and higher code plans, right? Where you can have an organization slug for each of those events. We say, okay, we want to issue badges. We go one step to the side, have this native integration with the event hanger, right? We upload, of course, our own logo as well. Those can be different for each event, right? It's not like, okay, you can only have one logo. No, for each purpose, for each event, you can have your own event logo,
right?
And of course, theme, color, and so on and so forth. You can customize each event badge uniquely from one another. Yeah. If we say, okay, in those cases, the certificates and the whole validation creates unnecessary friction, we can also disable the validation process in the background, click on save, and then it just shares the visual part of this certificate, and we can redesign it in a way that it also becomes more of this native event badge where we started with EU versus virus, and that's already your campaign. Yeah. You customize your whole template, rather go away from certificate, go to event badge, get your badge. You can incentivize the people who already who go to this event with, okay, share it with your network, your association to the certain event, and so on and so forth, or connect to other event participants as well. This is always a very, very good CTA. And the sharing settings, support your own event as well. Also, all those hashtags, they are always unique to the event that you create, and add the recipients, and there you go. The campaign is is going.
Right. Gotcha. So now you have shown me like I can create like different organization slugs and stuff. So which is fantastic. But is there a way I can also connect, say, for instance, some brands, they would like to have their own domain to be used when issuing certificates. So is it possible for me to have like a different custom domains to be attached for each of the organization slugs? I know that that's coming up, but then I just want to try to understand how the whole thing is going to work.
Okay, so the whole UX behind how the domains will be added, we really like to do with some beta users as well, because for us it's very important to understand how do we create this user experience that makes sense to our customers, as you already said. So I already have some input for that, but I think I would also have to talk to the developers how we actually realize the whole feature that it creates the most value for the community.
Gotcha. Wonderful. So, so which means like we are yet to hear an update from you on that, like how it's going to work.
Definitely.
Amazing. So, and there's another question that just landed on my Facebook, on our Facebook group. When you have the API access, so which plan gets the API access to the product? Is it like for everyone who is going to be like assessment a customer, or is it for like anyone who gets into tier 3 or tier 5, tier 7? So how is it going to work?
So some of those accesses, especially Zapier, we are planning to give across the plans. Because I think it's a very crucial feature also to lower tier plans on SaaS Mantra, right? To automate the process. I think a very genius person once said the best tool is the one that you don't have to log in every day. Yeah, and I like this one. How we do other native integrations. Yeah, this will be something since we start this sprint next week, where we also would like to get some input. Okay, what are the ones that we have to focus on in the beginning? What would create the biggest value to the community? Because we like to go that way. Not that we create some Moodle or integrations and the whole community says, okay, no, we want ThinkFig.
Gotcha. Okay, wonderful. So with that said, can you also discuss like what are the upcoming features? Like not necessarily like for the next whole year, next 3 years, but for the next few months, next 2 or 3 months, what are the ones that's coming up?
That's perfect. I'm going to show you the roadmap. We actually have a Trello Road Map that I would like you to invite everyone that is interested in the whole process. We just created it. It is getting shaped by the day. We try to be well as up to date as possible with very recent features that we're working out. And here you can actually see, okay, what are the ones that we're actually exploring? What are the ones that are locked in the current sprints, and so on and so forth. And here you also see when we have a call, right? If someone books a demo call with me and mentions a very cool feature request, we add it here and we keep you updated what we're going to bring into the next sprint, what we will have implemented, and of course also what we would have to put in line a little bit because it didn't get as much traction as other ideas.
Gotcha.
I'm going to send it in the chat if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Trello, there you go. Now you're always updated.
Perfect.
Yeah. Here we also see we can very quickly go through them, right? The custom domains, it's not in the current sprint as we see, but will be implemented as well. We have also the affiliate link implementation idea that we are exploring how we would actually have that in the UX wise as well, because it's, you probably know that from other SaaS tools, right? It's always dangerous if you have too many functionalities. The tool becomes so complex. Maybe for you as very early users, it's very it's one feature after the other, right? But especially for new ones, it's getting too big, right? So the UX is very important to us as well. That those features always make sense to you and don't make this tool unnecessarily complicated. But all of those ones. We're looking, having a deep look into it and push it into the next sprints.
Perfect. So if you would like to see anything to be like, if you have like a specific request that's going to be in line with the product's future, so please feel free to let the team know about that either in chat or in the Facebook group or on the deal page. so that they can also consider adding that to the roadmap as well. So depending on how it syncs with the product's vision into the future, because that's very important. When the product wins, everyone who believed in the product is also going to win. It could be the co-founders and going to be like a early adopters from SaaS Genius community. So everyone who believes in the product, they're going to win only if the product wins. So there's going to be like a lot of feature requests, that's for sure. But what really matters is like how it's going to align with the product's future as well, product's vision as well. So for instance, the integration with the LMS and then online events tool, that would be like something more interesting, because that will also get more exposure for virtual badge product. So so things like that could get like higher priority, if I'm not wrong. So
integrations are absolutely central for the next release. Definitely, that's something that you can count on as well. Of course, also the CNAME is something that I can already tell you will be there in a very close future. And maybe since you said, okay, hey, the product's vision, right? Where does it go? What is the overlying slogan that we always follow that is important to us as a company as well, where we see our place in the whole educational market, right? It's always the idea of turning participants into ambassadors, right? Letting them brand themselves and branding the company, so it's a win-win situation for both parts in the in this market.
Exactly. So that's very much in alignment with Malte's and the other co-founders' vision for the company. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions that we missed. No, we didn't. And I believe like I have also asked the question that I have basically put together different questions in different formats we have received. I have just put together like everything in simple words and just exactly what we addressed earlier. So I think we are pretty much towards the end of the webinar. So Malte, thank you so much. Can we have it back on screen? You can stop sharing and we can have.
Of course.
Wonderful.
There we go.
Yeah, excellent. So Malte, thank you so much for taking time and walking us through the product and very patiently addressing all the questions. So, and also thanks for sharing the future of virtual badge as well in today's webinar. So thank you so much for keeping the webinar engaged, and thanks for the interesting questions that came in as well. So we are planning to have like another webinar with virtual badge team, probably like once new features are rolled out. And there's definitely going to be like, you guys are going to give them like more ideas of what can be added to the roadmap as well. So we will put them that, we'll summarize that, and then we will address all of that in the next webinar. Perfect. So until then, until then, see you all. Thank you once again, Malte.
Thank you, Sempat. Bye-bye, everyone. Ciao.
Yes, bye.